A former top champion is now officially a free agent, and several top stars are set to miss this upcoming major AEW pay-per-view. But first, Roman Reigns has ruled over the WWE for several years now, with him being both the WWE Universal and WWE Champion, making him the undisputed Universal Champion of the company. Today, his run on top has hit a major landmark, as he has now had the Universal belt for a total of 1,000 days as of Saturday, May 27th, 2023. Roman has held the title since the Payback pay-per-view on August 30th, 2020, where he would defeat then champion The Fiend Bray Wyatt, as well as Braun Strowman in a triple threat match, having since made defenses against names such as Daniel Bryan, Edge, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Bill Goldberg, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, and more. The Tribal Chief is now number 6 on the list of longest world title reigns in company history, with only Pedro Morales' 1,027-day run, Bob Backlund's 1,470-day run, Hulk Hogan's 1,474-day run, and Bruno Sammartino's 1,237-day and 2,803-day runs ahead of him. Whilst Roman's next title defense is still unknown, he will be competing at the Night of Champions event tonight in Saudi Arabia for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, when he teams with Solo Sikoa to battle Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with him potentially set to hold 4 titles at the same time. And speaking of Night of Champions, the show will see the brand new WWE World Heavyweight Champion crowned when AJ Styles and Seth Rollins compete in the finals of the title tournament to name the top guy of the Raw brand. According to PW Insider, the match for the newly introduced belt is set to open the show as opposed to main eventing, leading to speculation on which match will go on last on the night. The decision to put the title match on first has led to some criticism from fans who feel that this only adds to the feeling of it being a secondary world title, whilst it can also be seen as a chance to spotlight the new belt in front of a hot crowd to get the event underway. Either way, the news likely confirms that the aforementioned undisputed tag team title match is set to headline the show, with the Bloodline storyline continuing to be the most talked about thing the company has to offer. On Saturday, June 17th, All Elite Wrestling will debut the first episode of the new Saturday night show Collision, with it set to air on the TNT network. There's been talk since the announcement was made regarding the chosen day for the show, something AEW President Tony Khan would discuss at this week's Double or Nothing media call. Khan would reveal that the idea was presented to him by Warner Bros. Discovery, with him feeling Saturday nights is a great time to draw a strong crowd at the shows, despite a potential smaller TV audience, and he would say, "I believe Saturday night is the single best event night for live shows and selling tickets. When this came up, I was very excited, and as you can see, we've booked some great venues, starting with the United Center and great venues after that. With the environment that Saturday night presents, in terms of being conductive with live events and people going out and buying tickets, we think it's a great opportunity, and it's one of the reasons I was so excited when we presented the offer for AEW Collision." Tony would then discuss Collision going up against NFL programming from time to time, something he feels will be the company's strongest competition to date, and he would add, "I'm generally not in the business of trying to compete with the NFL. Once you get to December, the college football schedule opens up and there is more NFL on Saturday. That generally starts around mid-December. Once NFL starts in December, it's obviously that much more competitive of a landscape on Saturday TV. That was definitely one of the considerations. It's not like we're competing 18 weeks out of the season with the NFL. Generally across 18 weeks, most of the games take place on Sundays or Mondays when we're not running head-to-head. It's definitely something to consider as we get into the latter part of the season. The NFL is truly the toughest competition in the world, and that will be as tough of a head-to-head matchup as you get. We've had tough head-to-head battles before, going up against the World Series or big playoff games in basketball. This would be the toughest thing we've gone against with the NFL. I am not necessarily looking forward to it, but it will be interesting. I can definitely say that AEW is very much on the radar of the top NFL executives. They've definitely taken notice of AEW and the ratings we're getting and the media attention we're getting. I suspect they'll have another reason to have a look at what we're doing, and very complimentary of how AEW is growing. Now let's get to some Impact Wrestling news, as last night the company would hold their latest pay-per-view, Under Siege, from London, Ontario, Canada, a show that was headlined by a match for the Impact World Championship. Steve Macklin would put his title on the line against ROH World Champion PCO under no disqualification rules, with the champion retaining after a blood-filled affair. However, the action wouldn't stop there, as after the match, Macklin would call out Impact EVP Scott D'Amore to the ring, ordering him to put the belt around his waist. Bully Ray would then hit the ring, taking Scott out from behind before taking his breath away with a steel chain. The two would then drive the Impact Authority figure through a flaming table in an image that's gone viral online. This before attempted saves from Matt Rehwoldt and PCO were unsuccessful. Ray would then vow that D'Amore will never get rid of him from Impact Wrestling before stating that he's going to take the whole company down with him. Next up, we have an update on the status of a former Impact Wrestling champion who is set to leave the company. Last night at the Impact Under Siege event, Jordynne Grace would fall short in her attempt to win back the Impact Knockouts Championship from Deonna Purrazzo, with there being a stipulation in place that if the challenger lost, she would no longer be able to fight for the title, as long as Purrazzo holds the belt. According to a fresh report from Fightful Select, the loss marks Grace's last appearance in Impact, at least for the time being, this after her contract with the company recently came to an end. There is said to be interest from multiple currently unnamed companies, including those in the independent scene, were she to go down that route, although it's said that for now she will be taking time away from wrestling to focus on outside projects. Speaking of outside projects, Jordynne has recently been competing in bodybuilding tournaments as well as powerlifting, with Fightful also revealing that she would recently become a millionaire through her exclusive content page. Aged only 27 years old, the 10-year veteran's time in the ring appears to be over, at least for now, although she would provide a quote for the report, with her adding that "I'll be back somewhere at some point." But which wrestling company do you think Jordynne Grace will land in going forward? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, All Elite Wrestling and New Japan Pro-Wrestling will host the joint Forbidden Door event from Toronto next month, where stars of both companies will battle against each other in the now annual cross-promotion show. Whilst there's been no matches confirmed just yet, we now have word on some top AEW stars that we likely won't be seeing on the show due to Mexican wrestling politics between CMLL and AAA. According to a report from this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, several AEW names are set to miss the event altogether, this due to their alignment with Lucha Libre AAA, and the report notes, there is a list of AEW talent which I believe would include Bandido, Vikingo, Rush, Commander, Penta, Phoenix, Andrade, Dralistico, and probably others who aren't expected to be allowed on Forbidden Door due to New Japan's strong ties with CMLL. The rules are different if you are Mexican. NJPW have a strong relationship with Mexican promotion CMLL and have done for several years, a company that is the rival of AAA, meaning the complicated political landscape in the nation is set to potentially hinder the Forbidden Door show in June. And before you go, make sure you check out my predictions for AEW Double or Nothing 2023.